Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Um, so thanks for coming back and joining me. I'm having some technical difficulties, and I am certain that everything is going to work this time. We were just talking about healing, forgiveness, and letting go as some big themes with this Sagittarius new moon. Next, I want to talk about peaceful field of creativity. So that's what we're looking at in this new moon energy. And what we really want to focus on more than anything is a really lovely, peaceful field of creativity. So this is, again, Sagittarius being a fire sign. It's a lot of creativity, a lot of really wonderful, like the fire gets the passion going, it gets your creativity going. You want to build, you want to create, you want to make things. So the idea here is to really just dwell in that spirit of peaceful creativity. So those are the things that we want to focus on. If you're just joining me, go back and watch the first new moon gathering. And then this is part two. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. So the things that we want to kind of be aware of, stay away from, and be mindful of. First is Sagittarius tends to be excessive, can be excessive. So like I said earlier, it expands whatever it touches. So it's right on top of the sun and new moon energy on Friday. So we want to be mindful of anything in excess. We want to stay in moderation. Um, Jupiter tends to want to make things bigger, bigger, stronger, better, go, 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 5 more drinks, 4 more appetizers, so it's just a time to be aware of that excessive tendency. We also want to kind of keep the mantra of don't believe the hype. Um, Things that seem too good to be true usually are, and they are especially around the time of this new moon. Being careful to stay out of judgment and irritability, especially in issues or items revolving around old patterns and wounds. So those buttons are going to be pushed around this time. And we just want to be very cautious and mindful that is a potential for this new moon energy. Not to say that it will happen, but the potential is there. So that's the thing about astrology. It doesn't portend what will happen. It really just talks about what is in the deck of cards, like what are the potentials? What is the possibility? And when we're aware of the possibilities, then we can just be more it's just like knowing what is possible so that we can be super mindful and choose what we do want and be mindful of what we don't want. It's super easy. So I can't remember if I mentioned this in the earlier video, but Mars and Neptune are in Pisces right now, which if Pisces is here, Sagittarius is here, that's forming a square like this, okay? So Neptune and Mars and Pisces, and then the Sun, Moon, and Jupiter in Sagittarius, those planets are squaring each other. And a square is pressure, discomfort, tension. So that is happening, that square with all of those planets. That's 5 different signatures that are involved in the square. That's going to, there's also going to be some potential for some discomfort with that. Okay. It's nothing to be concerned about, but it's just something to be mindful of that might be coming down the road. So that's about, don't be excessive. Just keep things in moderation. Okay, so that is a quick look at the themes happening with this new moon. I'm going to go through them very quickly just so I can have them all in one video. Yes, release negative thinking. Yes, focus on strengths and the positive. Yes, set your boundaries and stick to them and keep them up and solid and happy. Um, Keep your intentions pure and work and act and speak from the heart. Stay in the heart space. Widen your gaze. Don't get too micro focused on anything right now. This is a time to be expansive in our view. Prioritize. What do you need? What do you want? What can you do? And what can you not do? Be comfortable with saying no. Um, and yeah, just be comfortable saying no. Um, Focusing on healing, forgiveness, letting go of that which no longer serves us is a really, really good idea right now. And also creating a peaceful field of creativity is what we want. When we do these things, the energy will support that. So that's the thing about astrology. Again, it's not that the planets make us do things and make us not do things, but we on this earth are we are all energetic beings, and everything is energy, and everything that's coming in from all directions is energy, right? So the energy of the new moon, the energy of these aspects, Jupiter here, Mars here, that's just all another energy signature. So when we're mindful and aware of these things, then that's just more information that we can then have at our disposal, and that helps us know what's the best move to make, where what energy is supported by the current astrological situation. Okay, again, new moon is December 7th, Friday at 2:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so that's just a quick rundown of the astrology. So now I'm going to move to oh, I put my stuff away because I thought it was done. Here it is. I'm going to move to the HMS energy wheel. I think you'll be able to see this a little bit better now. So you will find this in the HMS logbook. This precedes every new moon each month. And the HMS energy wheel is associated with the 12 questions, these questions that go with the 12 realms of the energy wheel. So the energy wheel is your wheel of life, and it is divided into 12 sections. And each section represents a different aspect of your world. So we have your story, money, friends, family, creativity, self-care, love, transformation, beliefs, your life mission, philanthropy, and spirituality. The idea with the HMS energy wheel is that this is a really wonderful tool to help us get to the root of our belief system. What is driving our wheel of life? Okay. Carl Jung says, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will rule our life and we will call it fate. Okay. So, along with the energy wheel is a list of questions to help you get to the root of your energy output in each realm. So, let's take your story, for instance. This realm has to do with your self image, your projected image, your defense mechanisms, your appearance, and your outlook on life. So this is the question that the HMS logbook asks you to answer in the energy wheel. How do I feel about myself? Simple question, oftentimes a very complicated answer. So when we ask ourselves these questions every month, then we are able to get to the root of our belief system. Okay. So, do I feel crummy? Do I feel empowered? Do I feel sweet? Do I feel taken advantage of? Do I feel disrespected? Do I feel lovely? Do I feel perfect? Um, all kinds of words will pop into your head when you get really, really quiet. Light a candle, meditate a little bit, sit with the energy wheel and ask these questions. How do I feel about life? How do I feel about my money? How do I feel about my friends, my family? my true love, my creativity, my self-care? How do I feel about spirituality? How do I feel about philanthropy? How do I feel about my belief system? How do I feel about my life mission? Okay, so the idea here is that several adjectives more than likely will probably pop into your mind. How do I feel about money? Pretty good, scared, abundant, you know? When we know the answers to these questions, or rather, when we ask ourselves these questions and we sit in quiet and think about what the answers are, um, that gives us a lot of information. And it's really good for this new moon exercise because, in order to craft the most appropriate intention, it's good to know what's driving our wheel of life. In other words, if we're feeling that our creativity is just like not happening, and the last time I painted a picture, my husband laughed at it, and so I put my paintbrushes away and I haven't painted anything since. And so I'm feeling really crummy about my level of creativity because I've been really upset and I haven't been able to talk to him about it. Okay, you get the picture, on and on and on. So this is a self-discovery tool inside the self-discovery tool that the HMS logbook is. So getting these answers will then help us decide, okay, so I'm feeling crummy about my creativity. Sagittarius is a time about creativity. It's a time for expansion. So if I want my level of creativity to be expanded, if I want to be inspired to create more, then I'm going to craft a Newman intention centered around the expansion of my creativity. Okay. So we took a major theme of Sagittarius, expansion. We coupled that with what we found out about our beliefs and what's going on in our subconscious, from the new moon or the HMS energy wheel. And we took that information and said, how can we make that better? I'm feeling crummy about my creativity. What would a good intention be to help me overcome that? I'm going to turn this frown upside down. I'm going to use my new moon intention to do it. Okay. So that's just one example of how to use the HMS energy wheel to really help you dial into the most appropriate and the most auspicious Newman intentions that you can come up with. Okay, so again, you can find this in the HMS logbook. I can also email this to you if you would like a copy of it if you don't have a journal yet. Okay, part 3, which is the new moon intentions. So let's talk about what new moon intentions are, why they're important, and why we really want to do this at the time of the new moon. So writing down your intentions every day is one thing that I really encourage everyone to do in the journal, the HMS logbook. In my workshops, I express that it's a really good idea to start your day with a intention. And every day in the journal, there's a box where you can fill in your intention. When we start our day with, and it's definitely not a goal, but it's what we want to see more of in our life, okay? We're putting that out there into the universe. That coupled with gratitude, start that in the morning. You fill up your gratitude box with everything that you have to be grateful for. And then in the same breath, you write down your intention for the day. Gratitude coupled with the manifestation power of an intention is kind of akin to a magic wand. A magic wand is going to sit there lifeless until you pick it up and put your intention behind it. So that's what this is about. The new moon is a super auspicious time to focus on intentions because the energy of the lunar phase of the new moon is that of beginnings. The moon is brand new. It is birthing a new moon. And when we plant a seed, whether it is our idea, our intention, or an actual sunflower seed, the chances of that coming to fruition are so much greater when we plant that seed at the new moon, because the energy is ripe for beginnings. It's a powerful, it's like a Kickstarter. It's your turbocharger for making things happen, manifesting your dreams, what you want to see more in your world. 100 years ago, everybody, and I mean everybody who lived anywhere near a patch of land and had a backdoor garden, side door garden, victory garden, knew that if you really wanted to make your garden grow, you would never ever plant your seeds at the full moon, because the yield is not as good. Your plants will not be as healthy. It would just be a disaster. And you can look this up in the Farmer's Almanac. This is for real information that all of our great grandparents and great great grandparents fully understood this concept. It is an ancestral truth and wisdom that has been forgotten because we're not nearly as much of an agrarian society as we used to be. But our forefathers and foremothers were always aware of what the lunar phase, where we were in the lunar phase, because they understood and were really on top of the fact that, the moon moves the tides. It moves the water many 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 feet, and in a single day. We're little sacks of water. We are also susceptible to the ebb and the flow of the moon. Plants are susceptible. Our crops are susceptible. So this is there's nothing new age about this. This is old age information, which is what I really, really love, like tried and true, like talk to your great grandparents, talk to your grandparents if they're still alive, ask them these questions. What do you know about the full moon? What do you know about the new moon as far as agriculture goes? And you can pick up a Farmer's Almanac today that will echo this information. So there's nothing woo woo about it. It's pretty tried and true, centuries old. Okay, back to modern times. If you're planting a garden, definitely use this. If you're planting your own seeds of intuition or intention and intuition, definitely use this as well. It is an auspicious time to begin things. So this is when we want to begin a relationship, meet someone new, start a new business, anything that you want to have a fresh start, new energy. That's what we do at the new moon. You want to clean out your closet, quit a job, stop, kick an old habit that isn't working for you, let go of a belief system. Do that at the full moon or after, when the moon is waning, right before the new moon is up here. Full moon is down here, new moon is up here. So this is at the full moon. This is a time where we release things, the time of letting go. And as the moon wanes to the new moon, it's dead, or dying, dead. And then here we are at the new moon, birthing life, and then we're waxing, growing. The moon is growing. Think about how the moon gets brighter every night. That is what we mean by the moon is growing. It gets more light shown on it. Okay, so that's just a brief explanation of what's going on with this new moon, this lunar phase energy, and why it matters. It really does. So you take the themes from the astrological sign of the new moon, which we discussed briefly at the beginning of this video. If you want a more in-depth discussion, go to part 1 of the video, the one with the moon on it. And then we sit down and we craft our new moon intentions. And if you want to really take some time, I encourage you to take some time with this. Like, get in a quiet space, meditate for a couple of minutes, 20 minutes if you have the time, and do a couple of rough drafts. So let's say you want to focus only on the positive, or let's talk about boundaries. I'm going to set some boundaries. So you might start off by saying, Okay, boundaries. I want to work with boundaries. And your first statement might be, I want to have some really bulletproof boundaries. Okay, that's good. What would be better? I am establishing firm boundaries. Okay, that's even better. What would be better? I am joyfully establishing strong, firm boundaries, and I am prepared to honor those boundaries no matter what anyone says or thinks. That's an even better intention. Why? Because it's really specific. We don't want to be ambiguous with our intentions. We want to be really specific. We want to tell the universe exactly what we want. What else? Um, all affirmative. We didn't talk about what we don't want. We just put in all kinds of language that ensures that we do get what we do want, right? And that we're very, very specific, and that we're very positive. We don't want to say, I am tired of people walking all over me, so I am gonna. Negative. Um, we want to start our new moon intention with, and any intention really, with the words I am. I, super powerful, am, that's your engine, that's your turbo power. And then whatever it is that you want to see more of in your life. And we never focus on what we want to see, what we don't want to see. Okay. Always the affirmative. Center them around the themes of the astrological sign, using every detail imaginable. If you have one page for one intention, bully for you. Be very clear, be very specific, ask for what you want, ask for what you desire, even if it seems preposterous. Making sure that we always craft our intentions with the highest good of all folks involved. So we don't want to impinge on anyone's free will. We really don't want to get in anyone else's business anyway. We're all on our own path. But we definitely want to, we don't want to ask for something that would be to someone else's detriment, right? So it's a good concept to keep in mind as you're crafting your new moon intentions. This or something better. So we signed a soul contract before we came in here and we have a purpose. While we think we might want A, our higher self, our soul might disagree. So maybe you're not dreaming big enough. Maybe you're not thinking big enough. Maybe you're not thinking on a grand enough scale. So that is a really good little caveat to have in concept in your mind. Doesn't have to be written down, but you want to think about this, like, and be flexible and be mutable and say, yeah, okay, so I wanted the red Ferrari, but maybe I really need the white one. Whatever, you get it. Um, as I will it, so mote it be. As you wrap up writing your new moon intentions, add that to the bottom. That is a really old timey, and I mean by old timey, I mean centuries old. Um, Little, I don't know what you would call it, but it is what is added to the end of a spell or an intention. Um, and it kind of just like seals the deal, right? The last thing that you want to remember is right timing. So again, back to what we signed up for, what our soul purpose is that we might not be fully and completely aware of. Um, you know, it's just always good to remember that we probably don't have the big picture. We don't know all of the variables. And while we always want to be thinking about what it is that we want to see more of in our lives, it is also a good idea to remember right timing. Because sometimes if we get exactly what we want, then that means the thing that we're supposed to do down the road sometimes may not transpire because this happened. So we have to be willing to trust, surrender, put our intentions out there, and then surrender to the will of your higher power, your higher spirit source, and know that there's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. Thank you, John Lennon. Um, this is a lot like a magic wand, but it's not an instant magic wand situation, right? We're going to get and we're going to be led to and drawn to what we need when we need it. And that is a universal law. Okay. So it's really good to know. I've seen people in workshops, get super excited about, oh, I'm calling in the love of my life. And I know he's coming and I'm doing all this and then get complete, and the love of my life is this guy and he doesn't know it yet, but it's this guy. And then they're completely sidetracked and derailed and heartbroken because that doesn't work out. Well, it probably wasn't supposed to work out if it didn't work out. So what we have to have is faith and trust and the flexibility to stay balanced and centered no matter what occurs, right? Um, so that's just a really important concept to keep in mind as you're doing these new moon intentions so that we don't get discouraged. Um, Write them down, meditate first. And this is another, I'm going to reiterate this. Once the new moon has gone exact, which is 2:20 a.m., I wouldn't start this at 2:22 a.m. Like give it some time. Let the moon let the moon be birthed, like there's an afterbirth. There's some like growing into it. Like wait 12 hours. Wait until you wake up. Wait until Friday evening, Friday afternoon, Friday lunchtime. But you don't want to be like furiously scribbling your new moon intentions. Make it a ritual. Light a candle, put on some really beautiful music, make it quiet in the house. Lock yourself in the bathroom if that's your only option there. Um, and give yourself some time so that you can be very mindful, you can get very still in the mind, and you want to dwell in gratitude. Why? When we dwell in gratitude, we are telling the universe that we have everything that we need. We are not reaching, grabbing, searching, clawing, scratching. Nothing desperate about this situation. You want to feel fully satisfied, fully comforted, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be and that everything is great. This is the energy that you want to dwell in while you put pen to paper and write your new moon intentions. Because the universe doesn't hear what you say, the universe responds to how you feel. This is why we do the HMS energy wheel. Because we want to know what our energy output is, right? If I hate money and I don't think I'm worthy of money and I feel like I'm worthless and I don't deserve money, that energy is going to ensure that money escapes me and it is elusive every time. Okay. So when I sit here and I talk about, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I have a vehicle that runs, that I can afford my car insurance, that can get me to work, and that I can be of service, and that I have hot water that's running every time I turn on the faucet. The roof is not leaking. I have a beautiful home. I have a beautiful child. She is healthy. I am healthy. My parents are healthy. I am brimming with grace and gratitude. The universe will say, oh, yes, you are radiating abundance. We will return that to you. Here comes more abundance. Here comes more to be grateful for. Okay. So again, I'm going to say this one more time. And this is an Abraham Hicks quote that I find very, very powerful. The universe does not hear what you say. The universe responds to how you feel. What is your energy output? If you are complaining all the time, dwelling on your sad, sad, sad story, the universe will give you more to be sad about and more to complain about. And that is a fact. We must feel our feelings, and we don't want to shove our feelings. And we don't want to get into a black hole of my sad, sad story. So going back to what's going on energetically in this time frame, if you find yourself getting triggered, if you find yourself reliving old wounds, set the timer. I'm not even kidding. Get out the egg timer. Give yourself some time to look at it. And then when that timer goes off, it's time to move on. Do your feeling, do your healing. If you need professional help, get it. Um, but don't sit and spin on that stuff because the universe will bring you more of that, especially at these most auspicious times where we manifest almost instantly, as in the full moon. That's when we want to be really mindful of what's going on between the temples. Okay. What is going on in your noggin? What is the story? What is the movie line? What is the byline? What is going on and on and on and on in the head? Um, Mantra is a really one. If you find yourself in a negative um, spiral, going down, 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 and you can't get yourself up out of this, tune into a mantra. The Gayatri mantra is one that I am especially fixated on right now. I love it. It catapults my vibration. If I'm starting to feel a little low about XYZ, I start reciting the mantra or I sing it, and I am instantly amplified. So there are lots of really wonderful ways to raise your vibration. I'll be doing a separate video about that very soon. Um, but I think that's pretty much all. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time and your commitment to self care and the ritual of new moon intentions. Once you get into this habit, I think that you will really find it very powerful and very fulfilling. Um, Thank you for liking, for sharing, commenting, and especially for subscribing. I really appreciate it. I love reading your comments. So if you have any questions about um, this video, please leave it down below. This is one of my favorite topics, so I really appreciate your time and your energy here. Thank you so much. And this will be a monthly video, and it's always depending on the time, the days, but it's always at least 3, maybe 4 days before the new moon, so that we have time to do the energy wheel. We have time to really think about the themes in the month. So please join me back here. I really appreciate it. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.